home to Ohio State. That's the goal. Mike Hart won the toss, and Michigan defers. They will kick it off, and the Illini will handle the ball first. Fielded at the 5-yard line by Vontae Davis. Davis up the middle, explodes, cuts right. 45-40, out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Their spectacular defensive back explodes with the opening kickoff. And right away, Juice Williams and the Illini are in business.
Well, Brett, the Illinois coaches would tell you if you were to look at their entire roster, their two best athletes are back. Ben, the true freshman, and here the corner, Vontae Davis. Outstanding seams up the middle of that, but also it's the speed that he has to accelerate. Just a natural athlete finding space and turning on the afterburners.
A 63-yard kickoff return. You'll see him matched against Manningham as much as possible throughout the game. Now 1st and 10, and can the Illini cash in? That's Mendenhall, number 5, off to Juice's right. They run that option play, and Mendenhall's a powerful runner, picking up about 8 yards. So here is Juice Williams, a sophomore from the Chicago area. We may also see Eddie McGee, the freshman from Washington, D.C. tonight at quarterback. Juice runs the option better than McGee. That's why he's in there. You got a taste of it right off the bat. The Juice has some tremendous weapons here, as Ron Zook, known for his recruiting ability, has brought some studs. And you saw Mendenhall, one of the better running backs in the country. Right off to his right is number 5. Kirk has already told you about number 9. There's the check to the sidelines to see if they're going to audible out of it. Throwing off the fake. Touchdown! Willis. Jacob Willis, the senior from Champaign. 26 yards, and the Illini strike first. Swinging gate on the extra point. Number 13 is Jason Rita. 9 for 9 with field goals. This a chip shot extra point.
Well, all week, Michigan's defense has heard about how they have to stop Juice Williams in the option. Look at the safeties here. Engelman comes up, gets out of position. Illinois knew coming in. Mike Loxley told me earlier this week, we've got to be more active throwing the football. Teams are loading up on our running game. The safety comes up, and a nice job of getting the ball to Willis. Second play of the game, getting Michigan's defense out of position. Juice Williams has been hearing a lot of criticism. What a way to get his confidence up early in this game. First throw, a touchdown to Willis.
That's his first receiving touchdown this year. And for Willis, that lifts a heavy, heavy burden from last week in Iowa City. We will show you the play that may have cost them the game against the Hawkeyes. A touchdown call back as a wide receiver covers up a tight end, and the tight end becomes an ineligible receiver downfield. But here tonight, Willis storms into the end zone. And now the Illini will see what they can do against this Michigan attack. Glumovsky kicking it off. Brandon Harrison and Junior Hemingway back deep for the Wolverines. Hemingway bobbles, picks it up. Thrown down inside the 10-yard line, back by the 5. No Mike Hart. What it means is that Brandon Miner, number 4, who also suffered an ankle injury, will get the call for Fred Jackson. And you wonder right now, of course, with this veteran leadership, with Chad Henne at quarterback, Jake Long at left tackle, this is a team that doesn't figure to panic, and they're not going to open with him. They're going to open wide and see what they can do here with the passing attack. Carlos Brown, who was a star last week, the speedster against Purdue. They have sent him in to open the game instead of Miner. And Brown is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Antonio Steele, the senior from Cleveland, Ohio.
This Illini defense right now flying around. They know that this crowd is energizing them, and they know right now they have Michigan's offense backed up, and they're coming after the Michigan offense without Mike Hart and without the leadership in that huddle of Mike Hart.
2nd and 13 for Henne. Brown picks his way to the 11. All right, Kirk, tell us about the starting lineup for the Wolverines.
Of course, with Mike Hart down, Chad Henne, a senior, has got to be able to step up and show the leadership. The receivers will be big tonight. Up front, Michigan's as talented as you will find. They've had some injuries. The key up front, not only Jake Long, but I think Stephen Schilling's ability and versatility to move from right tackle to right guard has allowed this offensive line to build some continuity.
Now Miner checks in. A little bit better pass blocker than Carlos Brown. This an obvious passing situation on 3rd and 9. So Miner's on the field for this play. Complete first down, and there for the first time, Mario Manningham, the very talented junior from Warren, Ohio, makes the first down grab.
And again, Illinois' defense decides they're going to start off this game by being aggressive because they have Michigan pinned deep back in their own territory. They bring the all-out blitz. Good job up front by Michigan stepping up and taking on the blitz, giving Henne enough time, and he finds one of the top receivers in the Big Ten, Manningham.
The coordinator of that secondary, Kurt Mallory, a name very familiar to Wolverine fans. He played at Michigan. Now he is on the Illinois coaching staff. 1st down and 10. Play fake. Henne rolling, drops it off, wide open to the tight end, and he's out to the 32-yard line. Carson Butler's first catch of the night.
If you're a Michigan fan, you love to see the 1st and 10 pass. Last week, Chad Henne was 10 of 12 throwing the football on 1st and 10. And with Mike Hart down, when I say the pressure falls to Chad Henne, not just the leadership, Brent, but more importantly, his ability to throw the ball downfield to take pressure off of their running game.
Second down and 4. Short of the first down. And the starting defensive lineup, our lineups tonight are presented by Dell. Up front, Will Davis, Derek Walker, very active at the ends. You've seen them come upfield already. Remember Jay Lehman, number 47, one of the leading tacklers in the country. And in the secondary, you've already seen what number 1 can do returning kickoffs. He's a fine cover corner. His responsibility was not Manningham on that big play. Now here's another one. 3rd down and 3. Henne has emptied out the backfield. 5 receivers spread the field for the Wolverines. Diving interception at the 40-yard line. Kevin Mitchell, the senior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, on the ricochet.
This game could not have started any better for the Fighting Illini. Quarterback coaches always talk about precision passing and accuracy. Henne typically is an outstanding quarterback when it comes to that. He threw the ball behind Manningham, tipped the ball into the air, interception, the Illini.
I hear an underdog howling to God. Hang on, here we go. You may have forgotten this. Last December, Ron Zook was the only Big Ten coach to vote Florida number 2 over Michigan in the final coaches poll. Zook, of course, had recruited most of the Gators. But the Wolverines felt the snub because, remember, they slipped out of the top 2 spots and wound up in the Rose Bowl. Lloyd Carr has not forgotten. 1st down and 10. Here comes Juice. Handed it off to Mendenhall. Picks his way for a couple of tough yards. And Lloyd Carr, after losing his last 2 games of last season, opened this year with a disaster against Appalachian State and Oregon. They have since righted the ship. 5 straight wins, but they cannot afford another loss here tonight at the hands of the Illini.
They have not been on the road in this kind of environment since those first 2 losses, and now some adversity early. We'll see how they respond here in this game.
Yeah, their only road game, I believe, was at Northwestern. Those 2 losses came in the Big House. Who could figure that? Now it's a Juice on the swing, and this has been Tackle for a loss at the 44-yard line by Brandon Harrison. We have talked so much about the offense, and of course Juice Williams is their starting quarterback. You saw number 9, Aurelius Ben, big-time wide receiver out of the Washington D.C. area. That's where Mike Loxley, the offensive coordinator, once was a coach in that area. He knew him well. Millington, the right tackle, number 69, transfer from Oklahoma. When you run the option, the fellas on the outside, especially the wide receivers, have got to be ready to block on the outside. 3rd down and long now for the Illini. They flinched. The right tackle flinched. Let's see if that's what the call is here.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 69 on the offense.
Millington, the right tackle.
5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
So up by 7. Ron Zook facing 3rd and long. Doesn't want to turn it over here. He'll probably be very conservative with this call. Pick up some yards, then try to punt it down inside the 20-yard line. We'll see how Zook plays it. Mendenhall is number 5 to his right from Skokie, Illinois. In trouble, sacked. Back at the 39-yard line by Chris Graham. So they give ground on that one as Chris Graham comes up with the sack.
And this time Michigan decides to turn up the heat. Graham's going to come from the outside. When Michigan decides to get active and they decide to bring pressure, it makes the offensive line from Illinois think, and that's exactly what you want if you're Michigan, because then you can get after the quarterback, Juice Williams.
2 mistakes by the tackles. That'll bother the assistant coaches of Illinois. That was Fulton who couldn't hold the ground. Santella. Matthews, the speedster, back deep. No signal. Ball there is didn't give him enough room. There's the penalty flag at the end. Joe Morgan. So suddenly it is the Illini committing some errors here.
Kick catch interference. Number 13 on the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. 1st down.
Yeah, I think that's part of handling prosperity. You know, they had a couple big wins here, went to Iowa, lost, started this game exactly the way he wanted, a couple mental mistakes. That's part of having a young team.
Matthews got lucky. He should have been signaling for a fair catch.
Yep.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Today's AT&T All-America Flashback, Braylon Edwards. In 2004, Edwards' acrobatic catches made him one of the most electrifying players to ever put on a Michigan uniform. In his senior season, the All-American became the Wolverines' all-time leader in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving TDs, becoming the first Michigan player to win the Biletnikoff Award. Text VOTE to 87654 now on your AT&T wireless phone to play All-America Trivia for a chance to win a trip to the national championship game.
6,700 members, 97 chapters, and not an Animal House to be found. 1st down and 10. Ball coming out from the 32-yard line. Carlos Brown is the running back to open this series. Gets the handoff from Henne. And about 3 yards on that gain. Well, this is sponsored by the Sports Authority, the recap of Michigan, and you can see, Kirk, where they are.
Well, they came back with a lot of experience and high expectations. A couple tough losses early, made huge headlines nationally. Mike Hart declared victory against Notre Dame, and since then, they've been able to win 5 straight football games.
Passing down for Henne. 4 receivers, no backs to block. Manningham sent in motion to the other side, short of the 1st down.
We've touched a lot on Mike Hart tonight and what his absence means to Michigan, and I think it's very apparent now that they're on the road. They've won 5 in a row. Mike Hart is more than just a great back, the best back maybe ever that Michigan has had. He is a leader. He's a guy that in the huddle is vocal with the linemen. Chad Henne, that's not his style. He'll have to step up tonight, Brent, and not only make plays, but provide some incentive for this offensive line on the road.
On 3rd and 3, Henne is sacked. at the 28-yard line. The Illini storm with their defensive tackles. Lindquist and Norwell lead the charge against the middle of the Wolverines' offensive line.
Well, Illinois is making it very clear if they get Michigan to third down, they will bring pressure, and they're going to bring a variety of stunts up front to try to confuse the veteran offensive line of Michigan. This time, it's just the power on the inside that gets in.
Kraus and Schilling just do not hold up on that. Under pressure, the punt fielded back, and they're going to let it bounce now. Well, that was almost a very costly mistake. He should have been able to catch it, and it'll roll dead inside the 5-yard line. But Kyle Hudson could have touched the ball backpedaling like that, and the Wolverines would have had it. And they're coaching him up on the sideline right now as you're watching ESPN on ABC. And we can see leaving the field as we were coming back, Michigan quarterback Chad Henne is walking away. That is not a good sign. Meanwhile, Illinois backed up inside the 5. Mendenhall picking his way, and he is stuffed at the 4-yard line. Did you see where he could have been shaken up, Kirk?
Well, he got a lot of pressure there on that last third down, and the defensive front put a lot of pressure on him, and you got to wonder how much pressure came down on him when Lindquist got there. So take a look at him.
Meanwhile, young Ryan Mallett, the 6'7" freshman from Texarkana, Arkansas, getting ready. The early word, Kirk, is a shoulder injury. It is 2nd down and 9 for the Illini. Weil is the lead fullback. He'll lead the way. Mendenhall didn't get much as Illinois jammed the box that night. And what about the Wolverine D?
Well, this Michigan defense has an opportunity right now to step up. Watch the defensive ends tonight, Jamison and Graham. They have to bring pressure tonight on Juice Williams. The linebackers are tremendous. Graham and Crable bring experience, and also you have Eze, who has athletic ability. The corners will be tested. Donovan Warren, one of the top true freshmen in the country, number 6, and Morgan Trent on the other side brings the experience to the back end. An opportunity here to try to bring pressure again on Juice.
The Illini going all out. Look at that formation, folks. Look at the left side. They have emptied the backfield. You see the 5 receivers. Let's see what the Juice can do. Incomplete. Is there a flag? No flag. The Illini forced to punt.
You see that many receivers on the field. The one thing that Illinois wants to do is make Michigan's defense defend the entire field. Everybody's been talking about it this week. How will Michigan defend in space against the more athletic Illinois offense led by Juice Williams and Eddie McGee? That time it did not work out, and Michigan gets the ball back.
Santella back in his own end zone. Greg Matthews standing at midfield. Bad punt off the side of the foot. Is it touched? Matthews picks it up and steps out of bounds. So he steps out at the 49-yard line. And we want to remind you that tomorrow, Martinsville, 1 Eastern on ABC, the Subway 500. The battle for the NASCAR Nextel Cup continues. Now, here are your top 5 drivers. It seems to be Jeff Gordon's to lose right now. Teammate Jimmy Johnson only 68 back, and there's Clint Boyer.
24 looks like he's pretty much put it out of reach, hasn't he?
Well,
is that how you say
Jimmy might be able to, you know, if there's a disaster, you're doing good. Kurt, that's good, man. You're watching that stuff.
The 24 is looking good. Boy, I tell you that.
Ryan Mallett, better known as Big Tex, is under center for the first time with Henne out with an injury. And they'll run right away with Brown. Carlos Brown, the sophomore from Georgia. So here is Ryan Mallett. What can you tell us about this young man?
Ryan Mallett, when he came in out of Texas, he was one of the more highly touted high school quarterbacks coming in and got a test right away. Because of the injury to Chad Henne, he stepped in earlier in the year. Remember him against Notre Dame. Remember how the way he played against Penn State. They did a nice job at taking the pressure off of him because in those games they had Mike Hart. Let's see how he performs tonight on the road.
They get him 2 tight ends and a running back on 2nd down. Play fake under pressure, threw beautifully to Butler, who did it to the 34-yard line. Carson Butler And what a beautiful play by Mallett. He saw the pressure coming right from that spot.
Well, Mallett brings a swagger to the position for a true freshman. He runs this offense and has a lot of confidence, and I think the fact that he had a chance to play early in the year allowed him to settle down, and now when he gets into this kind of environment, I tell you, just watching him this year, I've been impressed with the way he carries himself out on the football field, almost a confidence and aura about him that I think it just comes very naturally because of his playing days back in Texas.
The base 4-3 from the Illini. Mallett feeling confident, checks off, hands off Brown, hole on the right side for 4 to 5 yards, and Lehman making the stop for the Illini.
This is a little bit more of Michigan style of football.
We see a penalty flag over there.
The flag is.
Incidental grasping of the face mask. Number 42 on the defense. That 5-yard penalty is tacked on to the end of the run.
I cannot tell you, Brent, tonight, especially now with Henne down and Hart down and on the road, crowds into the game, you're down by 7. This is not the time for Lloyd Carr and his staff to be conservative. I think you continue to take some chances. You continue to show confidence in Mallett. Throw some easy passes like that on 1st and 10 and attack the Illinois defense. Don't get conservative and wait until 3rd down to try to throw the football. I like what I'm seeing right now from Mike DeBoer.
2nd and short. Miners the running back. He gets the call, stretches the D, and has the 1st down. So it's 1st and 10 for the Wolverines.
See it in the early going here, and let's face it, Illinois has had a field position advantage. But tonight they've had a chance, Michigan's had a chance now to open some things up. Henne last week against Purdue, it was impressive. 10 of 12, 152 yards. By the way, it was Michigan's most productive game on the entire season. And I think a lot of it had to do with the Michigan coaches allowing their athletes to make plays, especially number 86, Mario Manningham.
Mundros is the fullback. And checking back in is Carlos Brown. He's out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Antonio Steele. And here's an update on Chad Henne.
The pressure came right from the middle. 280 pounds coming down right on top of him. You could see a little bit slow to get up. They took him into the showers, and we'll find out if he's going to be able to come back. But it did not look good when he walked off of that football field. And senior who's been in battle this year in 2007.
2nd down and 4. And this time, Doug Pilcher making the stop of Carlos Brown. Let's check in with Lisa on the Henne situation.
Well, Brent, Michigan is being very tight-lipped about what exactly happened to Chad Henne. It appears as though it's his throwing shoulder. What I can tell you is that after he got banged up, he came over to the sideline, and they were working on that right shoulder. He threw one pass on the sideline, and that's when he went over. That's when he went back into the locker room.
All right, Lisa. Meanwhile, Big Tex, Ryan Mallett has a 3rd down from the gun, fires high, diving, incomplete, and there's a penalty flag. Penalty flag thrown by the side judge. Hicks was covering Manningham, and let's see what the situation might be there.
It looked like he got there just a little bit too early.
Number 28 on the defense.
Yeah, Hicks is guilty.
The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul with an automatic 1st down.
I like the idea of Ryan Mallett looking for the matchup that he wants with Manningham going against the sophomore Hicks, his best receiver, and Hicks gets a hand in there, and then he actually makes contact well before the football gets there. That's a good call, and again, Michigan gets an opportunity here down to the 10-yard line.
Brown is the running back. The fullback is offset to the strength of the formation. They'll run in that direction. Brown picks his way, and the Illini trying to take the ball away, unsuccessful, and it'll be 2nd down and goal from about the 8-yard line.
That's the challenge for these young backs with Brandon Miner, and in this case Carlos Brown stepping in for Mike Hart. Is Mike Hart, what has made him a great back is his patience in this new zone scheme that Michigan instilled last year. He shows great patience as a back, and now Carlos Brown, when he's in there, and number 4 Brandon Miner, showing patience and then bursting through a seam once it's created by the offensive line.
Minor back in on 2nd and goal. It'll now be 3rd and goal, as that time Mallett under pressure.
You can see the Illinois defense trying to get in the face of Ryan Mallett and also into the head of Mallett, trying to test his moxie as a young quarterback on the road. Up to this point, very impressed with the way he's handling himself. Without Mike Hart in that backfield, young man has stepped into that huddle with a lot of confidence and believes he can lead this team to a score and a victory tonight.
Arrington and Manningham are to the right side of this formation. A shotgun with a fullback and a tailback surrounding Mallett, who drops back, throws end zone, incomplete. Arrington looking for a flag and did not get it. Here comes the field goal unit trotting onto the field for the Wolverines.
It's a pretty good throw, but outstanding coverage from Illinois. If Illinois is not able to make this play, and it's Hicks this time coming around with his left hand to get a hand on the football to knock away the football from Arrington, who had a touchdown if he wasn't able to get there. Nice throw by Mallett, but well defended by DeRay Hicks.
And so Lopata will attempt a 25-yard field goal. Good hold. He had to get it down, and Mesko, the punter, does it. So Chad Henne returns to the sideline, but Michigan trails by 4. Well, overlooked the snapper and the holder, and Zoltan Mesko, the holder for the extra point. Watch him save this.
Wow, that is a great job getting that football up and giving his team a chance to be able to get a field goal. But Brent, early in the year, the red zone for Michigan was awful, really, in those first 2 games. And remember, they missed those field goals against Appalachian State, a couple blocked.
Did I see? No, Henne looks like he's throwing pretty well over there in the sideline. So with the helmet on, we would expect him to come back. But Mallett did fine. And here is Wright. Fumble! Out of bounds, saved as young Ben comes over, and a penalty flag. Willis bobbled the ball, and then Ben coming over there, and the penalty flag flies, as I think Illinois may have kicked it out of bounds. I'm not sure, but we will check this out.
But I think there was a push in the back from Illinois too.
Clearly it.
Illegal block in the back. Number 44 on the receiving team. The foul will be assessed half the distance. First down.
Willis loses the ball. You think it's going to go out of bounds, and Ben comes over, accidental kick, but Illinois will be pushed further back into their own territory because of that push right there. It'll send Illinois back. Mark Mondros.
So since the opening burst, that failure to cash in on the second opportunity, and things have turned around. Michigan has taken charge of this football game. Illinois with lousy field position, and the Juice keeps it for no gain, and brought down by Sean Crable, number 2. And we check in with Matt Weiner in New York. Matt.
Kansas lead at Boulder, it has shrunk some. Cody Hawkins has tossed a couple of interceptions, but gets his second touchdown of the night here at a big spot. Byron Ellis gets it in for Colorado, so the lead there is down to 5. Oregon has just scored on a Jonathan Stewart touchdown run. They lead.
And here Illinois leading Michigan 7-3. Second down and 9 for Juice Williams. Under pressure, snaps it off, complete. Just short of the first down as Juice Williams.
Juice Williams has felt, I think, some pressure here in Champaign about whether or not he's going to be the guy because of what's happened with the backup freshman Eddie McGee. Brent, when he's had his opportunities, he has demonstrated an ability to lead this offense. Coaches tell us he's faster, probably has a stronger arm than Juice Williams, but he does not run this zone read option attack is fluidly, at this point, as a more experienced Juice Williams, and that's why number 7 is still the leader of this offense.
So the first quarter comes to an end. Illinois striking first. Michigan, though, slowly coming back, trailing 7-3. And ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back in Champaign, Big Ten matchup between Michigan and Illinois. The Wolverines unbeaten in the conference, and Illinois having suffered its first loss after back-to-back victories over Penn State and Wisconsin. Now third down. Mendenhall battles for the first down. The one thing that impresses you, Kirk, when you watch number 5 for Illinois is that Rashard Mendenhall, he's not a dash guy. He's a power man also.
Yeah. Well, when he gets the football, the pile typically goes like this. I think I've been impressed with him. Of all the backs out there, I think he's one of those backs that has the blend of speed and power. And when you run the zone read look from the shotgun, you need a guy back there that complements the quarterback with the burst, but also the power with that zone run like this.
Right up the middle. Picking up about 5. And let's take everybody through the Illinois season here.
Well, I think everybody expected Illinois to maybe be a year away. Maybe could surprise a team or two, but after losing to Missouri, they regrouped. The last 2 wins against Penn State and Wisconsin here were emotional wins. And then they went to Iowa City, and it was a devastating loss, so they had to regroup and come back ready to go. I think that's part of building a football program with the peaks and valleys, and Ron Zook's doing a great job so far this year.
Second down and 6, and they stick with the power look. ISO, and nothing doing that time. And Crable, Sean Crable, one of the better linebackers in the Big Ten, fills the hole.
Sean Crable, and you're also going to see number 37 try to fight to get in there, but you're right. One thing about Crable is with the speed that he has, he gets off blocks that can penetrate a defense or an offensive
Another
line.
fallen Warrior.
Oh, my God.
Manningham now leaving for the Wolverines. Third down and 6. And you can see the nickel look with the 3 down. Crable trying to rush in, standing up, and there has been the freshman from Washington, and the Wolverines obviously have been taught to make the freshman feel it. You could see 4 white jerseys surround the freshman and deliver the punishment. He has a shoulder that has been banged up this year, Kurt.
Well, they also want to try to get it out of there. I'm impressed with Juice Williams on third down. Michigan brings pressure. He makes the throw to Ben, who's one of the more talented freshmen in the country.
On the move on first down, Juice fires on the run, and Ben, they're signaling it's going to be marked right there. So Aurelius Ben, one of the sought-after wide receivers in America. And the offensive coordinator, Mike Locksley, who had worked for Ralph Friedgen at Maryland, and that is where Ron Zook met him when he was recruiting for Florida. Zook brought him to the Gator staff. When Zook was fired in Gainesville, he put Mike Locksley immediately on his staff, and he is the man most responsible for the recruiting of Aurelius Ben, the freshman from the Washington, D.C. area. Juice checks for the signal from the sideline on 2nd and 2. Keeps it. First down, breaks open to the 34-yard line. That's why Juice Williams is a starting quarterback. A 23-yard burst.
This is a zone read. You see it all over college football, but they change who they read from time to time. It's not always the defensive end. This time, it's the defensive tackle. Ferrara makes a great read by Juice Williams, and Mike Locksley right in the middle. The offensive coordinator very, very proud of his quarterback's decision-making right now on this drive.
It's 1st and 10, 11:55, second quarter. Receivers covered. Look at him dance to the left. Can he get back? Get a gain? He does. Picks up 3 yards.
This is Michigan's defense being tested Again, playing in space against a spread attack, against a mobile quarterback. These defenders and their head coach are so tired of hearing about it. Well, tonight's their chance to do something about it. And right now on this drive, Juice Williams has them chasing him down, or attempting to chase him down.
So how bad is it for Illinois? Chad Henne went to the locker room. Manningham is headed there now, and Mike Hart is in civilian clothes on the sideline. 2nd down and 8 for Juice Williams and the Illini. Mendenhall into the strength, breaks free. 1st down. A brilliant run by Mendenhall as the Wolverines went to stuff the run and had him at the line of scrimmage.
Well, Eze came on the blitz up the middle, number 45, the middle linebacker. He's in position to make a play. He comes off of the fullback. You have all kinds of defenders. Will Johnson's there. That gives you an idea of how physical a back Rashard Mendenhall can be for this Illini offense. He just won't go down.
He has a older brother who's a backup fullback on the team. Mother moved from the Skokie area down to Champaign. Has a sister enrolled at a Champaign area high school. Now he goes out as a receiver. And the Juice is on the money. I'll tell you, this is as well as I've seen Juice Williams throw the football this year. That was Kyle Hudson, the junior, making that catch.
Well, Mike Loxley made a great point this week talking to us, saying that Juice Williams has a great arm. I said, well, what's lacking? He said his confidence. If he can get his confidence up and believe that he can become a good passer and that his offense can become dangerous throwing the football, we can become dangerous and become more balanced as a football team. He has the physical ability. It's just a matter of continuing to believe in himself and his receivers.
2nd and 4. Another 1st down, and Mendenhall showing some great tough ability here tonight. Remember, Illinois has not beaten Michigan in Champaign since 1983 when Mike White was the coach.
Some great blocking up front to open it up. Millington, the right tackle, came around to pick up a block. And if you give Mendenhall just a slight crease, you know you're going to get a lowered shoulder into that safety and more yards. Now it's 1st and goal for the Illini.
Dufresne checks in as the running back. Mendenhall will take a blow, and the Juice is back in the gun, and here comes Dufresne sprinting left side, end zone, touchdown. Daniel Dufresne, a sophomore from Fort Lauderdale, gives Rashard Mendenhall a blow and shows some speed to the corner.
The block by the left tackle, Fulton on Crable, gave him enough room to the outside to show the burst that he has. And how about the toughness to lower the shoulder to pick up that touchdown?
That's a 98-yard drive. Rita. It is 14-3, and folks, that is very impressive. 98. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Illinois, with its longest drive of the season, plays 13. Yards, 90. And they got her done. 6 minutes and 25 seconds. All season bests here tonight. Klimovsky, ball on the tee for the Illini. Manningham now returns as Henne did a short time ago.
Wearing a trail out.
Fielded by Minor at the 3-yard line. To the 20. And let's check in with John Saunders in New York. John.
Brett, the Sports Center Minute powered by Vizio. Florida against Kentucky is top 10 teams continue to fall. 3 more this week. Tim Tebow had 4 touchdown passes as Florida beats Kentucky. Another top 10 team goes down. Meanwhile, the Boston Red Sox in Game 6 of the ALCS lead it 4-1. J.B. Drew with a grand slam in the first inning. Brett, back to you.
And John, the news here is that Chad Henne, number 7, back at quarterback, and number 86, Mario Manningham, one of the wide receivers, both back. Manningham breaks a tackle and picks up 8 yards on first down with Lehman making the stop.
Nice to see Chad Henne back in the lineup for Michigan. A great sign for Wolverine fans. We'll see how he holds up with that shoulder. Remember, he hurt his knee earlier this year against Oregon. Missed a Notre Dame game. He missed a Penn State game. Leadership vitally important tonight with Michael Hart on the sideline. And another good call by Mike DeBoer. Down 14-3. Throw the football against this Illini secondary.
Using Mundros as a fullback, Butler the tight end, the right side of the formation, and Henne going to air it out deep middle, and he's got his wide out Adrian Arrington, the 6'3" senior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
This is what Michigan's offense can do, is throw the skinny post as well as any offense in the country. When they find a safety in the middle of the field, they'll try to throw the football between the corner, in this case, number 1, Vontae Davis. Arrington goes right by him, and the ball is perfectly thrown by Chad Henne. I think that's the best kind of ball Henne throws, is when he gets back and throws a skinny post about 40 yards downfield. Exactly what Michigan's offense needed.
39 fumble. And Henne recovers it. Lost a down on the play, but number 7 pounced on the loose football.
Well, one play is exactly what they needed. The second play is not. And with an injured quarterback, the last thing you want to see is a loose ball on the ground with linemen piling up on top of it.
The center is Justin Boren, sophomore from Ohio. You see Brandon Minor, deep eye set. Looking right side, dropped. Incomplete, Arrington the target.
You got to hold on to the football there if you're Adrian Arrington. It would have been a tough catch. The ball's thrown behind you a bit. When you're on the road, every single play matters. He had a nice space in his own defense. Could have very easily been able to hold on to that football and given them a chance here at 3rd and short, but now 3rd and long.
And Martez Wilson, number 2. The ballyhooed freshman from Chicago. On the field defensively. Has great speed in this nickel look. Coming after Henne. Henne gets it off. Complete. Manningham. It's 1st and goal. Michigan as Wilson, Martez Wilson, coming off the blitz from the left side of the defense, was picked up that time.
Well, nice job by the right side of the Michigan offensive line. They had the tight end over to the side. They protected, and then one-on-one. I think Davis got a little confused there in coverage. A very simple pass for Chad Henne to make to his favorite target, Mario Manningham. But it all started with Michigan's protection there to give Henne enough time to throw it.
Vontae Davis has been victimized a couple of times on this drive. Remember, he's a fine talent, sophomore also from the Washington area. So on 1st down and goal from inside the 10-yard line. Henne on a play-action fake, rolling hard to the right. Manningham dives in zone. Touchdown, Michigan.
You're on the road. You get down 14-3. You've got injuries all over the place. Your senior quarterback comes back and leads you 6 plays, 80 yards, a little under 2 plays. And again, the 1st and 10 passing by Mike DeBoer. The effort here by Manningham. He is in the end zone for a touchdown. See if his foot goes out. I think he held it up.
It was close.
Yep. Great effort by Manningham.
Gingell to kick the extra point. Number 84. Check it. Lopata. Check it. Lopata is kicking this. My mistake.
That is a big-time drive by Chad Henne.
So Lopata adds the extra point, and the Wolverines are right back in the thick of it.
Saturday Night Football on ABC. Presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. Powered by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Verizon Wireless.
Basketball season is almost here, and there's a familiar name, folks, a Jordan. This one, Jeffrey Jordan. You'll see him, and there is the man. Look familiar to you, folks? That's right. Michael Jordan's son, and he has a 42-inch vertical. Not going to be an overnight sensation, but I'm told by my scouts around Champaign, going to be a player over there at Assembly Hall. Going to contribute.
42, huh?
That's not bad.
No.
It's in the genes. It's in the genes.
That's right, baby. College hoops right around the corner. I can't wait till you and Lab start calling some games. I'm ready.
We're going to see Lab out west. Ball out of bounds. That'll be a penalty over there on the kickoff. They tell me that Michael Jordan got in his car.
Yeah.
Drove down quietly to practice. Didn't want to make a big thing out of it.
Of course.
One day to watch it, you know. But
yeah.
Made the trip down alone. And
very nice.
Wanted to see it.
Imagine the pressure.
Oh, it's
illegal kick out of bounds.
He's handled it very well.
By the kicking team.
Yeah, man.
The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Let's go down to Lisa with the young man right now. Lisa.
That's right, Brent. Probably the most famous freshman on campus, Jeffrey Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan's oldest son. And the first question I had for you, Jeff, is 42-inch vertical. Is that true?
42. You know, we've been on extensive weight training, and I think everybody's numbers have boosted. So far, you know, I've been improving.
Now, you came here as a walk-on on the basketball team, but you got some scholarship offers from some smaller schools. Why'd you pick Illinois?
I came here. I like the atmosphere. I like the players, and you know, I definitely wanted to come to a big-time school and try to challenge myself. So those are the main reasons why I came here.
Now, you are a walk-on. You think you're going to see some time?
I hope so. You know, Coach doesn't know he's going to play yet. So he said basically whoever's going to play well in practice is going to get on the floor. So hopefully I get out here and get some time.
Now, I know your dad was actually on campus on Monday for a feature story that you did with him. What's the best part and the worst part about being Michael Jordan's son?
You know, you get benefits. You can go to him anytime you have questions. And, you know, worst part is obviously the attention. I don't want all the attention on me most of the time, but, you know, you get used to it and you just learn to push it aside.
And lastly, the question that everyone always seems to ask you here on campus, not about your dad, but what's the question you're asked most often?
Was I in Space Jam? And no, I wasn't, for the record, but that's definitely the most asked question.
Thanks a lot, Jeff, and good luck to you this season. Brent.
All right, Lise. Here's another one of the talented athletes down here at Champaign. The other thing, Kirk, and you know how valuable this is that Jeffrey is going to receive. This is a first-class education down here at Illinois. I'm not sure that people around the country are aware of how good an educational institution this is. I know that there's some schools, there's one up in Evanston likes to puff its chest out, but
oh, yeah?
Illinois is a pretty good academic university.
You wouldn't know anything about that.
No, I wouldn't know anything about that. Let me tell you that. They get a great education. Let's come down here, and it's wonderful that Jeffrey's going to walk on, and he will get playing time. You wait and see. 3rd down and 2 now. Juice keeps it there, Kirk, and nothing doing. The Wolverines were ready for that one.
Okay, it's time for Illinois to show some maturity. 14-3, Michigan drives down. It's 14-10. It's the zone read right in the middle of this defense. Michigan does a twist, confuses Juice Williams this time. They take away Mendenhall, and there are 2 defenders standing right there waiting for him on 3rd and short to force the punt.
Santella back to punt again now. Illinois 14, Michigan 10. 6 minutes left in the first half. John Saunders and the gang will have all the action. We had some more good games. Fair catch Matthews this time at the 19-yard line, and that's where the Wolverines and Henne will put it in play on that last drive. Henne was 4 of 5 for 79 yards and a touchdown. Can he do it again? We're about to find out.
13th season.
This is, right? Got it.
I'm Matt Weiner in New York with this check of your primetime pulse on ESPN. Auburn and LSU scoreless. The Tigers have won 9 of their last 10 against top 10 teams. And on ESPN2, Maryland leads Virginia 14-3, running all over the Wahoos, who have a 6-game win streak.
And here Illinois leads Michigan 14-10, 5:50 to go in the first half.
Big drive here for Michigan and for this Illinois defense after what Chad Henne did on the previous drive to cut the lead to 4.
Chad Henne carved him up through the air. Going to stay up on top. Goes right back to his favorite target, Manningham. And now it's time for the Aflac trivia question. Lloyd Carr in his 13th year with the Wolverines. So when Bo Schembechler hired Lloyd Carr in 1980 at Michigan, where was he coaching at the time, and what was his coaching position? What was his specialty when Bo Schembechler hired him? He's the last of the Schembechler gang. 13th year with the Wolverines. Second down. And here's Brown on a cutback and picks up the first down. Good tough run that time with Britt Miller making the stop.
This is about having an opportunity to be a great blocker up front. You see the linemen, you also see the tight end. Arrington will come around. They're just trying to outflank the defense and try to allow the back to bounce it to the outside. What I like to see from Brown, even though he's inexperienced, is him cutting it back a lot like Michael Hart would to find more daylight. There's Mike Hart coaching him up on the sideline.
Not in uniform because of an injured right ankle, suffered in the first half last week in Ann Arbor against Purdue. They probably will rest him against Minnesota and get him ready for the November stretch. Fires incomplete. And that time the pass was broken up by Justin Sanders, the senior from Pearl, Mississippi, as Manningham can't hang on, and Justin delivers the lick.
Well, that's an experienced safety coming over, actually out of position, but because he has good instincts there as a senior, comes over, is able to separate the receiver from the football. But again, Michigan being aggressive by throwing the football here on 1st and 10. We've got to attack this Illini secondary.
Spread across the field. Pressure, sacked, battling his way in. Doug Pilcher, the sophomore from Hinsdale, just outside of Chicago. What a bull rush.
It is a bull rush, and this time Illinois, they don't get real fancy. You have Steele coming, but that is just a defensive line working hard, and the defensive end, Pilcher, able to get to the inside of Schilling, beat him to the inside, and got to the quarterback, Henne.
Schilling, the sophomore from Bellevue, Washington. He has his hands full here tonight. He's a sophomore. His high school was nicknamed the Wolverines. Had similar helmets, and so he moves on to Ann Arbor. 3rd down and 20 now. Henne will be looking for one of his wideouts. Can't get it off. Sacked again. This time Lindquist, the junior from Highland Park. The defensive game plan by Dan Dish and Kurt Mallory. Attempt to put Henne on the run.
Well, a twist on the inside here from Lindquist. One side, Norwell on the other. Occupies a couple of the offensive linemen, and it's Lindquist who shoots free. They only rush 4, but they still got the pressure on Chad Henne.
So here's Mesko standing by his own goal line. Now they get their 11th man out there. Kyle Hudson. They rush the punter. There's a penalty flag on this. But if it's only a 5-yard penalty, it won't be close to a first down. Remember, this was 4th and a bunch here on this play. If it's a personal foul, it's a first down.
Personal foul.
There it is. That's the bad one.
Roughing the kicker. Number 11 on the defense. 15-yard penalty
mistake
from the previous spot.
at this point in the game.
An automatic first down.
Morgan, the wide receiver.
Morgan, of course, the receiver who made the big catch last week, comes through, and when you run through a punter's leg, an official standing right there will call that every single time. It's not a physical hit, but when you run through a safety's leg or a punter's leg, when it's extended, you'll get the call for a personal foul every time.
Got to protect the punters. They're so vulnerable.
Well, they're so fragile, emotionally too. and the kicker.
I apologize to all you kickers out there. You know, anybody who played tackle football like Kurt. 4th down and 27 on that play. Gave him a 1st and 10. Let me, Captain Kirk.
Yeah, the kickers in
Let me go to my Aflac question here. When Bo hired Lloyd in '80 at Michigan, where was he coaching and what was his position? So you knew why we asked it, but he was right here. He was the defensive back coach at Champaign for Gary Moeller, who also went up to that staff. Manningham in space to the 41-yard line, and there's that costly penalty. The personal foul against the punter, and the Wolverines are in business to strike for a lead here.
Well, that gives you an idea of the arm strength from Chad Henne. They're going to go with a no huddle here, but Chad Henne got back and let that ball go, and another nice throw by Henne to move into Illinois territory.
Come back with Minor on the run. He shakes and bakes. 1st down, 30-yard line on that run.
This is why you like to see Michigan get aggressive with the play calling, throwing on 1st and 10, 2nd down and short, because then you can go back to the bread and butter, and then you can see them effectively mix in their zone run. Right now, 2 minutes close to 2:19 until the half. Chad Henne, complete comfort zone in running this offense.
Gave ground that time. Minor couldn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Antonio Steele, active senior from Cleveland.
Steele having a good game tonight along with Jay Lehman. Top 2 tacklers on this Illini defense, and you can see why. They are very, very active with their speed.
There's a character there, Lehman. He's out of the Butkus tradition down here. Henne's hit on the release. Manningham hangs on, but check that now. That was Carson Butler.
Manningham that time was controlled by Vontae Davis. He had to come off of him and find Butler for the short game.
So we'll take a break, and Illinois is happy to have Michigan call that timeout. They're tired. All right, 3rd down and 11. The joint is rocking. The Illini get ready to rush Chad Henne here in this obvious pass situation. Manningham, 8 catches, 84 yards, number 86. Then the go-to guy. Henne steps up in the protected pocket, fires, 1st down, looks back the other way to the 15-yard line, and Carson Butler.
They get one-on-one coverage with a big tight end against the linebacker Steele, and it is tough for a linebacker to match up with the size of Butler. Nice throw for the 1st down.
I'll come back with the running play, and here's Minor. Picked up a couple of yards coming around the right side of the offense.
Plenty of time for Michigan. 2 timeouts, closing in on 1 minute. Still can pick up a 1st down where the clock will stop at about the 6-yard line. Chad Henne has been in this kind of situation a lot of times in his career. Should again be very comfortable with his decision making on how to get Michigan into position for a touchdown, or at the very least a field goal.
Kept alive by the personal foul against the punter. With Hart cheering, end zone, diving, incomplete. Arrington. He was covered by DeRay Hicks, number 28.
Shows you the experience there by Chad Henne. You saw a little Peyton Manning type of little pump fake, and by doing that, it opened it up. It was just a little bit of a long throw into the corner, but I loved how he used that pump fake to get the safety and corner over to open it up into the corner of the end zone. Just a poor throw.
They'll take this stab at the end zone on 3rd down, probably settle for 3 if they don't make it. They can still get a 1st down, obviously. Henne's back. Open man. Arrington dives. Incomplete to Sadie's out of the end zone. Arrington doesn't believe it. Replay will take a look. Let him replay. That is exactly what Carr said over there on the sideline, and they will.
Oh boy, the left foot got down.
Did he have control?
That's all it comes down to, Brent, is if he had control, because his left foot came down before his body landed out of bounds. He has possession. We'll probably get another look. He has to have, this will be a great look to see if he has possession of the football. He has possession there, and the foot is down before the body touches out of bounds. That looks like a touchdown to me. First guess.
I agree.
What do you got?
I agree.
Okay. I thought you were about to get ugly with me. I thought it's quick. You got to be quick.
You watch them.
We criticize.
Pay attention.
Yeah,
it's
good.
good.
You got to jump on.
It's good. I like that.
I think Kenny's going to be. Oh boy, holding that right wrist.
Did he get hurt on that play? He's over there with the trainer. That looks like the right wrist.
Charge timeout. Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan wants to make absolutely sure that they look at all these angles. Lloyd knows it. It's running backwards and forwards upstairs.
This is the pressure that Chad Henne felt from Illinois trying to get to him. And I don't know if it was a matter of just a lingering effect from the hit that he took earlier, because he didn't feel anything on that play.
Gentleman came over before the game and gave me his card. Mr. Verl Sell is our football technical advisor tonight.
Outstanding.
He's a fine man.
You're on top of it all.
You get this right. The Big Ten, of course, is the conference that first brought in instant replay, and it certainly looks to us like he drug the left foot, and it looked like he had possession of it. The side judge this is the angle.
This is a great look to show that he has possession with the right hand. That is a great job by Arrington.
Arrington made a wonderful catch.
Body lands out of bounds. Well aware of that. But the left foot, touchdown on the orange, right there. The left foot is down before the hand and the body comes down. That's a touchdown.
There's a lot of people who still say, the game should play the game, go on. I think this is the reason why you have instant replay.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think that,
get it right. It takes you a few more minutes. It's fine.
Absolutely. And this is so important.
Huge.
In this game.
For Michigan to be down 14-3 against a Illinois team that's hungry, anxious to prove that they're for real, and then to come back like this. This is a huge play in this game. No pressure, but a huge play in this game.
Now remember, folks, it was basically a mental blunder on the part of Illinois when they roughed the punter. Illinois would have had the ball in marvelous field position. They would have been working with a short field.
After review, the call on the field is reversed. The receiver had possession of the pass.
We're all over that here.
Touchdown.
It's a good call.
I know it's deflating, but you just got to pick up and go on as Arrington's 5th receiving touchdown this year puts the Wolverines ahead, and they'll be looking for this extra point. A big drive in this football game. Tough for a young team.
Tough for a young team in Ron Zook. Huge for Chad Henne with Mike Hart down. Chad Henne has stepped up in his first half on the road.
Here's Lopata. Tacks it on. Go up by 3. The crowd did not have the advantage of the instant replay, but the officials just corrected a wrong, folks. You saw it at home for sure. We welcome you back to Champaign, a sellout crowd, and we remind you that coming up in the Bud Light Halftime Report, John, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. I have all the highlights, including the country's new #1, the Buckeyes of Ohio State, and a couple of big ones down in the SEC, Florida, Kentucky, and Auburn and LSU. And folks, that is really not a good sign. We heard it was a shoulder earlier. We saw him clutching his wrist.
I'm starting to wonder, you don't want to guess, but I saw when he clutched his wrist in his hand, and one of the trainers turned to him in almost a tingling sensation maybe into his hand.
It'll be down right there at the 33-yard line. So the Illini with 44 seconds to work with here. And remember, this is not a long ball offense, not by any means. However, last week against Iowa, they threw what appeared to be the winning touchdown pass in the game, and it was called back. Eddie McGee chucked that ball, but let's see what the juice comes up here with 44 seconds.
He's had a heck of a night throwing the football tonight. Now we see what Ron Zook means when he says Juice Williams manages the game and we're more comfortable with him at this point running this offense.
4 wideouts. The Wolverines put 4 down on that front. They're going to try to get heat on him. Russian 5. Juice steps up, incomplete on first down, and that was Hudson.
Michigan getting some pressure that time on Juice Williams. Ball be thrown behind Kyle Hudson, but he had open receivers downfield. It's always been a challenge for this Michigan defense, not only this year, but the last few years. When you space them out, 4 receivers, how do they defend in space against the big seams in that secondary? Got to get pressure on Juice Williams if you're a Michigan fan.
They'll try it with 4. The tackles twist. They've set the screen. Mendenhall breaks a tackle, but he is down at the original line of scrimmage, really, and very well defended that time. Chris Graham making the play.
And middle linebacker Eze sniffed it out very early and forced Mendenhall back to the inside where Chris Graham and the rest of the defenders were waiting.
So a deflating end to the first half. The crowd, the noise comes back down. The Wolverines lead it. Now this crowd trying to get back in it here, but the Illini are going to let the final seconds tick off. Crowd wants that long bomb downfield, but Ron Zook said, no, let's go on in and regroup here.
And remember, Brent, Michigan deferred. They will get the ball to start the second half.
But will they have Henne?
That's
that
the big question.
Becomes the huge question, as he has gone off the field for the second time with an injury to his throwing hand. As you see, the teams cross, so the officials are being very careful, and now the Wolverines. And let's go to Lisa.
Thanks, Brent. Coach, you had a couple key guys banged up in that half. You're going into the locker room with a 3-point lead. What impressed you most about what your team showed you that half?
Well, Chad Henne showed a lot of courage. He took a real shot and came back in there, and we're fighting hard. But Illinois, there's 2 teams out there playing awfully hard, and we got a long ways to go here.
And you mentioned your quarterback. We just saw him go back into the locker room for the second time. What's his injury and his status?
I can't tell you that.
Right, Sergeant Schultz, I say nothing.
I want to see somebody put together of Lloyd Carr's interviews at halftime. It's priceless. Let's go to John for the Bud Light halftime report. Take it away, Big John. Ross electing to defer, and that's why the Wolverines will get the ball here to start the second half. Junior Hemingway, wide receiver, is met with resistance around the 10-yard line. And now it's time for our Southwest Airlines playbook.
Illinois jumped on top of Michigan early, built a 14-3 lead, and Chad Henne struggled, but boy, did he make an adjustment. His last 12 throws, he's 9 of 12 for 138 yards and a couple scores. And I think what I said earlier, he's fought through some injuries, he's fought through some adversity, and he now has Michigan back on top with 2 straight scores, now up 17-14. And he will stay on the sideline as Mallett comes out.
So number 15 trots out. He was 1 of 3, Mallett was, in the first half. Brown met, and a penalty flag flying on the play, indicating holding that time. So Jay Lehman and gang, they were filling the gaps that time.
Incidental grasping of the face mask by number 96 on the defense. 5-yard penalty tacked on to the end of the run.
That is Chris Norwell.
It's just something you don't see very often when an offensive lineman is coming down to make a block and a defensive lineman inadvertently gets his hand up into the face of an offensive lineman. The official on top of it and gives Michigan 5 yards.
Offset eye. Brown. And our Pacific Life game summary here looks like this from the first half. And of course, it was Chad Henne going up on top, 169 yards, along with young Mallett there. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the difference late in the second half, or the first half. But go back to the beginning of the game. The crowd was into the game. Illinois went right down the field to jump out on top. They built a 14-3 lead, and then Michigan closed strong to take the lead at half.
Second down. Brown. First down. Run out of bounds. Davis, the corner, over on that side.
Ryan Mallett stepping in now for, at this point, Chad Henne. We talked a lot about what Henne means to this team. But with Mike Hart down, now a true freshman, Ryan Mallett steps in, has some game experience, played, of course, against Notre Dame for Henne, who was injured, stepped in against Penn State. I think he has a great deal of swagger, almost a little bit of an attitude and belief that he's going to find a way, even though he's a young quarterback, to make the plays he has to make. I like his attitude.
Fumble. Mallett picks it up. Loses yardage. And it'll be second down and long, but he recovered it as he was pulling away.
Big Tex better get on that football. See if Michigan continues with that aggressive play calling that we saw late in the first half, even with the big true freshman in there.
Second down and 11.
On second down and 11, the wideouts are to the right side of the formation. They run the draw play. So very conservative here, Kirk. Would you agree with Ryan Mallett? Britt Miller, incidentally, makes the play defensively, number 44, the junior from Decatur.
Yeah, I think when they had the loss and the setback for second and long, I think they tried to catch the Illini off guard a bit with the draw. And now we'll see. You're going to see here, if he has time to throw, the arm strength. Chad Henne might have the strongest arm of all the quarterbacks in Division I college football. But Ryan Mallett, for a young quarterback, if he gets time to throw, you're going to see another strong arm for Michigan.
So it's from the gun. Forced out of the pocket, on the move. Trying to get a receiver to run. And he'll be sacked at the 19-yard line. And the Wolverines are forced to punt.
Now this time Illinois tries to bring pressure, and it eventually gets there, but it's the coverage downfield. Mallett can't find an open man. If he was ready there, he might have been able to make a throw to Arrington. Unable to. Pressure closes in on Mallett because of the outstanding coverage by the Illini secondary to force the punt here.
Carr not happy with Mallett. High punt. Fair catch is the signal at the 37-yard line. Speaking of fair catch, in the Big East, when you wave a hand, that's a fair catch.
Does that mean fair catch?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
Not in UConn.
This game being broadcast on ABC HD, presented by DLP HD TV.
Ryan Mallett, when he came off, pretty animated conversation with Lloyd Carr. Young man, you're going to learn. Just look at the head coach in the eye and say, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the experience-wise running back Mike Hart pulls Mallett aside. Just say nothing, sit down, try to get the ball back and execute next time you have the football.
So it'll be Juice Williams. First down and 10 for the Illini here. The Illini trailing their first possession of the second half. And there's the young man breaking free is Dufresne. Daniel Dufresne, Mendenhall's backup, opens as the running back.
Well, the read is going to be right here on Sean Crable. If Sean Crable commits down right there, then you would be able to see the quarterback keep it. He stays to the outside, and it allows the quarterback to give it, and that's where the zone play comes into effect. And again, Illinois runs this flawlessly at this point with Juice Williams.
Mike Longsley, the offensive coordinator, using both Mendenhall and Dufresne in the backfield. The Illini spread the field. There's Mendenhall. And the Juice off a play fake, fires complete. And that is Ben to the 30-yard line. And across it to the 29. It'll be first and 10 for the Illini. The Juice with 20 more yards. He stays hot.
This is how Juice Williams started the football game, and one thing Illinois has to do is move their most talented receiver around. They move him from the slot to the outside, sometimes to the backfield, this time in the slot, and he finds a nice big hole behind the Michigan linebackers, and a good throw by Juice.
Now they put Mendenhall in that power eye look. Check the sideline for the changeup. Coaches have checked the Wolverines' defensive personnel. Outside blitz, so they pitch to Mendenhall, looking for a block by the fullback, but the Wolverines gang tackle him that time. Sean Crable is there, and there's Mama Mendenhall, who moved down from the Chicago area to Champaign so she could be closer to her two sons, and a daughter who is also enrolled here in high school in Champaign.
Rashard Mendenhall is a vital cog to the Illini offensive attack.
And the Wolverines have made him target #1 here tonight. Done a good job. 3 down now. Nickel look on 2nd and 11. Juice is back in the gun. Dropped. It'll be 3rd down as Willis. And we check in down below with Lisa.
Brent, you were talking about Sybil Mendenhall, how she left her job in Chicago to be close to her sons here this season. She said that she just had a feeling that this was going to be the year for Rashard and for Illinois. She lives about 5 blocks away from Rashard and Walter, who live together. She said she just is here for motivation. She made a bet with Rashard today. If he could score 5 touchdowns, she'd give him $1,000. She said she wants him to be like Red Grange in 24.
Red Grange, your galloping ghost. A ways to go before that. And 3rd down and 11. The Juice dances on the moving zone, incomplete. Ben, the intended target that time.
Juice Williams late on the throw. He had Ben breaking away from the safety, Jamar Adams, and if he would have been ready a little bit earlier, he had a wide open target downfield. It just took him a little bit more time to break away from the Michigan pressure.
Jason Rita, 9 of 9 kicking field goals this year, Kirk. Going for the tie here with a 47-yarder. I believe the young man 5 field goals at 40+ yards. You get a great view of it here. No. Off to the right. No good, and it stays at 3 as Jason Rita, the senior from Rock Island, misses for the first time this year. Lloyd Carr adding a little intensity to that Michigan sideline. Tough Big Ten matchup. Underneath some of the views here at Memorial Stadium is the handoff to Brown, and he is wrestled down. Chad Henne still on the sideline, but wearing a helmet. He might not be done for the night, Coach.
No, I don't think he is, but Illinois did a good job of putting pressure on him early, knocked him out of the game. He was struggling. Michigan was down 14-3, came back from going into the locker room, threw a couple touchdown passes, but still you can tell by the look on his face, he's holding his arm. Michigan deciding to hold him back as they start this second half.
Because this quarter, they are working into the teeth of the Champaign breeze. So Illinois missed a field goal with that wind at its back. And now 2nd down, we get a chance. We'll show you the flags here at Memorial Stadium. Incomplete on the pass. And so the wind will be at Michigan's back for the 4th quarter. There you see the breeze, the flags atop the stadium. It can gust down here on the floor of Memorial Stadium. And you see that wind that Michigan's working into right now.
Interesting time in the game, Brent. Ryan Mallett demonstrating some emotion, showing his inexperience in youth. The last series coming off the sideline, now facing a 3rd down following that. Let's see how he handles this kind of pressure.
On 3rd and 8, Mallett steps away from the pressure, going to run for the 1st down. Big Tex to the 49-yard line.
The linebackers for Illinois' defense here, and Steele is here. They're going to come with pressure. When you bring your linebackers with pressure, one of the things you better make sure of is you get to the quarterback, because there's nobody left in the middle of the defense. And the big fella showing he may not have blazing speed, but he's got enough speed to be able to pick up that 1st down and get down, big man.
A 20-yard run crossing the 50-yard line. Draw play with Brown into the middle, comes out the other end for a solid gain on 1st down before Steele wrestles him down.
I think for Illinois, they've got to turn to steel. One linebacker, Jay Lehman, the veteran in the middle, number 47. The reason I say that is Michigan at this point with a true freshman quarterback, backup running backs have played all night. Getting a little bit more conservative and predictable. That's when Jay Lehman and also Antonio Steele need to turn it loose and try to become aggressive to try to rip that ball away.
Saw the backup quarterback signaling in the play, and this time the Illinois defense wins on this down, and it'll be third down coming up.
The reason I say that, Brent, is if Michigan is going to go back to running the football and being conservative with Mallett, I think it puts them in more and more situations where they're going to be down in third to medium to long. And I think it's up to those linebackers to try to create those third down situations, and then you bring pressure and you try to confuse the young quarterback and hope to be able to create turnovers.
Michigan is going to spread the field. Mallett alone behind the offensive line. Going deep, got one-on-one. Davis is there. There's the flag. Ran into Manningham. Lost eye contact with the ball.
Great point, Brett. He lost the football, and you're not going to find face guarding in college football, but when you run over a receiver who's trying to adjust to the ball because he sees the ball, you're going to get flagged.
Pass interference. Number 1 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
One of the most common things you see from corners in today's college game is once they're beaten by a step or two, it's desperation time and they turn on the speed to try to catch up. The problem is when the ball is underthrown, they can't see it, and you run right into the back of the wide receiver.
So the ball inside Illinois' 30-yard line here. And if Mallett can guide them to a little daylight, they'll stick right with the freshman rather than put Chad Henne in and risk any further damage. But again, Henne standing over there with his helmet on. Fumble! Illinois pounces on the ball. As Mallett pulled away, he coughed it up. And Chris Norwell, the senior from Cincinnati, recovers it for the Illini.
Well, we just talked about Illinois trying to create a turnover with a young freshman quarterback. This time he helps them by not keeping his hands in with the center. And when a center is trying to make a big step, watch him step to the left. Mallett doesn't keep his hands with the center and ride the center. The separation causes the football to pop out, and an opportunistic Illini defense jumps on it.
Eddie McGee will see his first playing time for Illinois, number 10. The freshman from Washington checks in for his first series of the night. Mendenhall is his running back. Now, even though McGee has a little bit better downfield arm, you're going to be surprised by his speed. He's not elusive, but he can flat run. Not this time. Michigan says no way with Brandon Harrison coming off the corner.
Well, Michigan has done their homework on Eddie McGee. The knock on Eddie McGee is he is faster than Juice Williams. He does have a stronger arm. The reason he's not in there is because of this. You've got to be able to pitch the ball. When Harrison as a safety comes down, deal the ball with your left hand to your running back and pick up big yards. He did that a couple times last week against Iowa as well.
Crable came open, and they were throwing a screen to Mendenhall on that side. Richard bolts out to the 33-yard line, and Terrence Taylor makes the stop.
I know, Brent, how much you love the video games. This is the L1 button for you video game people. Oh, little juke there by the Michigan defender. Down the field for a big pickup by Mendenhall. Watch this. Oh, in the open field, making a man miss, and now Illinois has a chance on third down.
Needing 7 yards, need to reach the 40-yard line. Michigan rushes 4. McGee is in deep trouble. Crable's in pursuit. McGee turns away with the speed, cuts the daylight. What a run by Eddie McGee. Sean Crable had him for a loss, and he broke free for the first down.
Brent, make sure everybody understands. Lloyd Carr has told us that Sean Crable was the fastest linebacker he has ever Michigan. He just got left by number 10, Eddie McGee, who got to the corner and then decided to cut back to give himself a chance to get the first down.
16 yards on 3rd and 7 for the Illini. Ball at the 47-yard line. Mendenhall's turn, breaks daylight, crosses the 40-yard line with a tough run.
Well, Eddie McGee has brought the spark in for this offense. Xavier Fulton's going to come around and pick up a great block, and Mendenhall will follow right underneath it. Little delay, nice cut right there by Mendenhall, and a big block by the left tackle, Xavier Fulton, to open that up.
5.5 more minutes with the wind at their back. McGee checks the sideline along with the wideouts and a running back. There's Mendenhall again, another first down.
This gives you an idea of the versatility from Mendenhall. We've seen him with power tonight. We've seen him with speed. Here's the vision to cut back to be able to see the hole. They're spreading the Michigan defense out. They're making them think. They're making them work, and it's opening things up nicely for the Illini.
Russ Weil, the lead fullback, helping with a tremendous ISO block. They throw the other way. And Ben is out of bounds, picking up about 4 yards. Trent pushes him out. We check in with John Saunders. John.
Trent in the SportsCenter Minute powered by Vizio. Auburn facing LSU. Carl Stewart with a 1-yard touchdown run. 14-7 is the lead for Auburn, and they are now inside the 10, threatening to score again to take the lead. Meanwhile, in the ALCS, looks like there's going to be a Game 7. Boston leading 10-1 in the 5th. Brent, back to you.
Yeah, and here, John, and you know, you got to feed the big fellas.
Exactly.
Russ Weil does all the blocking. You say, okay, let me give you a chance here.
That's
big
exactly what I was thinking. I love with the big fullback. He's been barreling in there trying to open up holes for his running backs. And the leader, they tell us that he is the unsung hero of this offense. They feed him maybe half a carry a game, so he got a big carry here tonight against Michigan. Good job, Big Russ.
Now here comes your 3rd down and 4. Crable is up on the line of scrimmage, standing up. Mendenhall is short of the first down that time. John Thompson, senior from Detroit, number 49. Helps make a big play defensively that time for the Wolverines, Kirk.
Well, he's one of the more physical linebackers that Michigan has. He's been beaten up like a lot of the other Wolverines this year with injuries. That time slid in there and made a nice play.
And here for Jason Rita now, wind at his back. Remember, he missed his last one. 9 of 10. This for the Ties, a 38-yarder. Got that one. Rita ties it up. Game on in Champaign. But in looking ahead now, the Wolverines will have the wind at their back in the 4th quarter. We're tied, and you're watching ESPN on ABC. Ron Zook started 4-19 his first 2 years. Now he's 5-2. Signed a 3-year extension through 2012. What did he do to celebrate? Went out and recruited some more. So here comes the kickoff. We're tied at 17 with 3:47 left in the 3rd quarter.
He's one of the best at recruiting. That's obvious.
You can ask the Gators about that when they lined up and beat up on Ohio State. Harrison and Minor will be back deep. Short man at the 15-yard line feels it. And ridden down short of the 30-yard line. And near the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. And Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. You'll see a lot of Chevrolets tomorrow at 1 Eastern on ABC.
Oh, yeah.
NASCAR.
Oh, yeah. Are you in on?
No, I get a weekend off.
Oh, good for you.
I go home.
Good for you.
My family's in a convoy down to Florida. I got to get down and reintroduce myself. Yeah, Blake and Scott are driving down. I got to go meet him.
There you go.
You know, I had to cut work with you, so I couldn't,
right.
couldn't help.
I was wondering where he was this week.
He'll see us a Happy Valley.
Okay, all right. Got to get him back in the rotation.
Absolutely. tied at 17. Mallett has replaced the injured Chad Henne. He's in trouble. Throws it away to the tight end Butler. And Butler picks up about 5 yards on that play.
Might seem like a small gain. I know it's 5 yards. It's just Ryan Mallett breaking a tendency here in the second half. A little play action, bootleg coming back the other way. Conservative throw, an easy throw, and Mallett got hit there after the throw, and he also got up a little bit slow. Illinois got some pressure even off of the play action. That Illinois defensive line has done a nice job of putting pressure on, whether it's been Henne back there or now Mallett. Lindquist, Noel, Walker, Pilcher, all four are playing good against the pass tonight.
If you're a Wolverine fan, you've got to like your future with Mallett. He's got some moxie, talent. Here's Brown, first down.
Ball carrier,
He crashes close to midfield that time before Hicks can bring him down. There's a good one. How about Jake Long, number 77, a great left tackle.
Well, this gives you an idea right here. I want you to notice where the defense is aligned, and you would think there's enough of an opportunity for them to chase down the running back. There's an opportunity to see the speed that the Michigan coaches have talked about from young Carlos Brown. He doesn't have the experience, but Jake Long makes some big blocks, and Carlos Brown has speed to break away from defenders.
Jake's slick now. He has a by about a second and a half. He did a good job there at the waistband. Real good. He's a big timer. Going to try to run the other direction, and Brown's fast now. He can explode to the 22-yard line in a tie game.
Unbelievable job here by Mallett of just getting the ball to Brown. Adam Krause trying to reach on the block, steps on Mallett, who almost goes down, and pitches the ball to Carlos Brown. So first of all, they're lucky to get the ball to Brown, and then how about the blocking to the outside there? The receivers, Arrington does a nice job, and a big crease in the Illini defense.
And here is the big change. After that snap fumble, Adam Krause moved over to center in the offensive line. He probably would have been there earlier this year, but for a hand injury. And here is Minor breaking free, busting for another tough first down. So the key move by the Wolverines coaching staff is to move Krause over on this drive and Bourne to left guard.
Well, we've seen Brown's speed on this drive, and now you get an example of Brandon Minor's power. Now, I know it's not Michael Hart tonight, but the combination of speed from number 23, Brown, and now the power from Brandon Minor right here on back-to-back runs for the Wolves.
First down and goal for Mallett and the Wolverines. Minor is stopped and thrown back by the Illini, and Miller leading the charge there, the linebacker that time.
Now, Michael Hart not playing tonight. We've touched on it quite a bit about what you lose when you take out the nation's leading rusher. But you have to look and see that Brown and Minor have stepped up on the road with a true freshman quarterback playing most of this game, and have done a pretty good job of showing their skills.
You know, Kirk, I thought that was first and goal. They're outside, so they can stay that first down, and this is second down and 10. George Hill alertly catches that. Here's Brown, and this is going to be third down. Now the question is, do you have Mallett put it up in this situation?
I think you have to. I think you have to have confidence in the experience he's gained so far. Jay Lehman, one of the first times we've called his name tonight, shooting right through a gap and showing some pretty good speed of his own to be able to bring down the ball carrier, the leader of this defense. And a character, wants to host some infomercials, right?
Yeah, he is a character. Brandon Minor checks in. They stack their three wideouts to the right for Mallett. Manningham is 86 as they bunch him. They come after Mallett. Fires. Oh, picked off. Intercepted at the 4-yard line by Justin Sanders.
He got to wonder if number 7's going to grab his helmet the next time Michigan has the football. Brent, you asked the question before the play, should Michigan take the chance and throw? I thought that they should. It backfires because you see a safety and Sanders in on a nickel package, sits there, and I think he read the young quarterback's eyes, and it led him right to be able to jump in front of Greg Matthews.
McGee stays in at quarterback for the Illini, and because of the ball being inside the 5, they move him up underneath center. Have a very safe handoff to Mendenhall, who bangs for about 3 yards. A tough inside run as the third quarter comes to an end.
We got a ball game, baby.
Glad you could join us.
We got a ball game.
ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. With Lisa Salters and Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. We welcome you to Champaign, where Illinois deadlocked with Michigan at 17. The Wolverines battled their way back into the rankings with a 5-game winning streak, but that's on the line right now. Second down and 6 for the Illini. Their backup quarterback, McGee. And Richard busts for a first down on another tough run.
Brent, our guy here, Russ Weil, the senior, the leader, is a fullback that nobody wants to talk about. Right here, watch the block that he has a chance. Old school isolation block right there, stalemate, but that's all you have to do as a big fullback to be able to, right, there's a great look at it right there with Chris Graham. They lock horns, and it opens up for Mendenhall again to hit a seam for, see a measurement, see if it's a first down.
So they bring the chains out. Inches, inches, inches.
Something that sometimes gets overlooked is a quarterback that's the starter, and he wants to be the guy at all times, and he has to, he's not hurt, but Juice Williams has to say, Eddie McGee, go get him. The coaches say that Juice Williams is an unselfish player, and he not only is supportive, he coaches Eddie McGee every time that he's coming over the sideline, and he's cheering Eddie McGee on. That, I think, tells you a lot about the kind of continuity that Ron Zook has created here.
All right, Zook now, third down and inches. Why not your quarterback? He's a 6'4". Why not Mendenhall? Plus free for a first down. You know, I saw Zook over on the sideline. It reminded me, Kirk, of a great story he tells. When he was an assistant coach in the National Football League, he was driving and he heard that Steve Spurrier was going to the National Football League, leaving Florida. And they also said in the announcement that next year, the non-conference games, the Gators would play Miami and Florida State. Zook said to himself, man, the guy that replaces him is really going to get fired. He gets the job, goes down there.
Man.
And of course, he does get fired. Lands on his feet here in Illinois. Long throw, McGee. Caught, incomplete. Hudson could not hang on, and the crowd thought he had it. But there is a penalty flag. Morgan Trent, the defender, there's a penalty flag. Back at the line of scrimmage, personal foul. Roughing the passer against the Wolverines. That's the first penalty of the night against Michigan.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 90 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. And an automatic first down.
Jamison, after the ball is delivered, comes in late. That's definitely 15 yards on him. But I'll tell you what, Kyle Hudson got behind coverage. It's a breakdown in the Michigan secondary, and the Wolverines caught a break there because Hudson was walking away from Morgan Trent for a touchdown.
But the penalty moves the ball out to the 36-yard line, and the Illini reload. Mendenhall is number 5. The offensive center calls all the adjustments, not the quarterback, for Illinois. Snaps it off, and it is complete. Willis, the receiver.
It was great. You could actually hear the audio there where the center, Ryan McDonald, showing his leadership. And you're right, it's a good point. You always see the quarterbacks pointing. For Illinois, it's all about the leadership and understanding from Ryan McDonald.
He's a junior from Holland, Michigan. On the roll, throwing a strong arm. He fired that away that time. And let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, pretty even for the most part, and that's why the score is tied up here in Champaign. But just at the bottom, Michigan having 3 turnovers. The Illini not committing 1. And Michigan came into this game second in the nation in takeaways. 23 on the year, but right now, Illinois with a +3 in the turnover margin.
Third down and 5. Option look, McGee. And he is stopped beautifully that time by Eze, the sophomore from Grand Rapids. Read that one perfectly, and that little bit of the difference there with the juice and McGee when you run the option.
Yeah, he has speed, but Michigan's defense played it very well. Zay comes in, shows that he has been able to get off of some blocks tonight, and that time lowered the boom on the quarterback, Eddie McGee.
Santella to punt it. Matthews awaits him toward the top of your screen. Fair catch at the 22-yard line for the Wolverines. So, will Michigan stick with the freshman, or is Chad Henne coming back to work? You'll find out as you're watching ESPN on ABC. And look who's back. Chad Henne returning for the 4th quarter. A tie game, Michigan and Illinois. The freshman watching. Henne back in the gun, looking for an open receiver, and cradling it is Matthews. So it's an incomplete pass. So, what are we to make of this this wacky season? As from week to week, you just never know.
Well, you never know, and you're going to see upsets every single week. That's the one thing you do know. You just don't know who might drop off. Michigan trying to avoid an upset tonight, playing Illinois. Chad Henne steps in for his first snaps in the second half. You had a feeling he might come back if needed, and they need him right now.
They want the screen to Brandon Meyer, and it is read and broken up. Nothing doing that time as Antonio Steele, the senior from Cleveland, broke that play up brilliantly.
Well, you love the look of the Illini and their linebackers. This time it's number 40, Steele, who shows not only instincts to be able to sniff it out, but speed to get to the outside and force Minor back into the defense. Antonio Steele and Jay Lehman, very, very active in this Illini defense. That's why they're one of the better defenses in the Big Ten when it comes to defending the run.
3rd sellout of the year for the Illini. Henne fires back to Matthews, and he's thrown down by Davis. Face mask.
Only question here, is it the 5-yard variety or will it be a personal foul? He looked like he pulled him down rather suddenly, which would mean 15 yards and a personal foul because of how much speed and acceleration he seemed to bring him down to the ground with.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 1 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
Incidental, you get your hand up into the face of a ball carrier or a receiver, but when you pull him down as fast as Matthews goes down here, you needed to grab something, and grab the face mask for 15 more and a first down.
Tough night for an outstanding player, Vontae Davis, the sophomore from the Washington, D.C. area. 9 penalties against Zook's team and 1 against Michigan. It's been a big difference in this game. There was movement. The tight end, Carson Butler, might have flinched that time, and that'll cost him a big 5 on that false start.
Number 85 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. He's still first down.
Brent, he came up pointing at Will Davis. Will Davis is allowed to flinch. He's a defensive player. He's allowed to move. Butler, you're always guilty when you point. You know, the guys that always come up pointing, it's always like, all right, I'm busted.
And he's got the play off the wristband. First down at 15. There's the flanker screen, Manningham. And Manningham with a penalty flag.
15 yards again for Illinois. Late hit. This time it'll be Kevin Mitchell, number 42. Manningham's out of bounds. Got to keep your cool for this
After the play,
Illini defense.
personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Number 42 on the defense. 15-yard penalty. And an automatic first down.
Manningham clearly out of bounds, and you love the aggression from a defense, but when a ball carrier's out of bounds, you just can't do that. You just can't do that. It is a good call. Not only that, he got over top of him after he pushed him out of bounds.
Another penalty flag comes flying. Is this on the sideline? Is it too many men? Let's see now.
Maybe a warning.
Sideline warning. Illinois, their first of the game. No yardage is assessed. Still first down.
See Ron Zook saying calm down. Everybody on the Illini team right now, just settle down. You're in this game. Chance to win it.
First down and 10. Incomplete. Now, we asked Ron Zook about the tough loss last week and how do you prevent one loss from turning into two, and here's what he told us.
As I told him, you have to learn how to handle, winning a game just like you have to learn how to handle losing a game. And this week, and I kind of put it on them, is that you guys will decide where we go from here, where this program, whether we continue to improve and get better. And this week's practice has probably been the best week of the year.
And so they're here in crunch time. 11:19 left in regulation. Second down and 10. Henne with that inside handoff to Brown. Brown is short of the first down. Big third down coming up for the Wolverines.
Well, that says it all, Brent. When you hear Ron Zook talk about the emotion of the last few weeks, the big victories against Penn State and against Wisconsin. This field was covered with students. Such emotion. And then a week later, they go to Iowa City, and Ron Zook said it's one of the most devastating locker rooms he's ever been in. And it's great to hear they had a good week of practice, and they're showing it tonight with the kind of determination that they're playing with.
Mike Hart not playing because of an ankle injury. 3rd and 4. Matthews goes through the formation. Henne gets it off. First down. As Arrington crossed that yellow line, it'll be a 1st and 10 for Michigan.
So 1-on-1 matchup between an experienced receiver in Arrington and a veteran defensive back in Kevin Mitchell, who made the mistake. He's a 3-year starter. 1-on-1 opportunity. Arrington knowing exactly where he needs to get for the first down. Good play by Mitchell, but just about a half yard too late for as it's a first down for Michigan.
They have driven to the Illini 37. Wind at Michigan's back. Pressure. Wilson trying to complete it. 2nd down and 10. One of the few times tonight that we have seen the phenom, number 2, Martez Wilson, come in and attempt to put on pressure.
Brent, Chad Henne again entering this game. First series of the second half. He's been battling injuries. He's been taken off the field in the first half. They brought him back, sat him out to start. They allowed the freshman Ryan Mallett to play most of this second half. Right now, 8 plays, 40 yards, trying to get some points for this Wolverine offense.
They leave Martez Wilson on the field here on this series. 2nd down and 10. Busted up. And thrown for a big loss. Sherrod Williams, number 56, the junior from Ohio.
But Sherrod Williams was not fooled for a second. That time, when Chad Henne running a little zone read of his own, it's an easy handoff. Sherrod Williams didn't even blink to think that Henne might hold on to it. He closed down on Minor for a big loss that time.
Here's your big third down. And the Illini better get a grip on 86. Davis has got him one-on-one. Henne looks over to his direction on the left. Timeout. The clock was running down, and Michigan
Charge timeout.
called the timeout.
Michigan.
So we'll take a break. The Illini and the Wolverines are deadlocked at 17 in Champaign.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. Verizon Wireless. And Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Yeah, there's some good pubs in this town.
I bet.
George Hill's
Coming alive right
a couple
now.
of them for me. Orange Crush rocking now. Third down and 16, and not close to field goal range as far as the Wolverines are concerned for Lopata. His long is 36 yards. Henne got one-on-one, got a man open, and they overthrew him. They had Manningham break wide open, and Mike Hart's on from the sideline.
They decided to go to Manningham, who is one-on-one. What's amazing here is the timing is just off. A little hesitation. Oh, and he goes right behind the safety, and it's an opportunity for a touchdown. Garza bit up, and there's nobody back there. That is a touchdown, and Henne would love to have that one back.
Mesko. He'll punt it for the Wolverines. Hudson looking for the fair catch. Fumble! And the Wolverines jump on it. They've got it.
It is the first turnover of the night for Illinois. They had a +3 advantage tonight, and their sure-handed punt returner Hudson has the ball, an opportunity to secure it, lets it go right through his hands, and Griffin right on top of it to recover it for Michigan. What
so
a
the
break.
long snapper, who frequently is not covered, is able to get down and recover that fumble. So here we go. A 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line, and Griffin being congratulated on that sideline.
Henne's first snap here in the second half, under center.
They'll go to the running attack. And it's Brown to the 11-yard line. Brown has passed 100 yards here tonight.
I thought it was interesting when Henne came back into the lineup, that entire drive, Brent, he was out of the shotgun. And there was still so much time left in the game. And Brown, you just talked about going over 100 yards. The zone play working pretty well at times. The balanced attack working pretty well. Very surprised to see him come back. I thought it might be the injury, but now he's under center.
Brown checking with Henne. The fullback is Mundros. Here comes the end around. Arrington, did the Illini read it? He's going to throw for the touchdown. Got Manningham. Arrington to Manningham. The trickeration puts Hart's Wolverines ahead after the fumbled punt.
That's taking advantage of an opportunity right there, and that's what you have to do to win on the road in tough, emotional conference games, especially when your leader, Mike Hart, is not dressed and has not played tonight.
But two other leaders have stepped up big time, Manningham and Arrington. Manningham's over 100 yards. Lopata adds the extra point as Arrington has caught a touchdown pass and thrown for one on the end around. And it was the fumble on the fair catch that set up the go-ahead touchdown. Special teams have killed the Illini here tonight. We are back in Champaign. If you just came home and turned on the television set, it's Michigan and Illinois, and the Wolverines on an end-around pass to Manningham have gone back ahead of the Illini 24-17. We have 8 minutes and 12 seconds left in regulation. The Illini will work against the wind, and that fumble recovery was number 13 of the season for the Wolverines. 13 fumble recoveries, and now the kickoff is driven into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20.
That's a good play call here by Mike DeBoer. The handoff to bounce it to the outside. Arrington comes around, and it's just a simple route here. Bounce to the outside. Manningham makes a good decision, gets it right where he wants to be. And once he does this right here, look at the huge window to the outside. Makes it very easy for even a receiver to make a pretty good throw and a touchdown.
The juice is back. Number 7, Juice Williams, returns as the Illini quarterback. 8 of 12 passing for 70 yards. Back in the shotgun. He's the more effective of the option runners. Here's Mendenhall. A 5-yard run on first down. And the turnovers here tonight. Interestingly enough, Illinois had protected the ball until that fumble, and Michigan opportunistic pounced on.
Well, they only have the one takeaway, but 7 points. Illinois has been given opportunities, only been able to come away with 3 points off of their opportunities. We'll see right now. Juice Williams comes back in after Eddie McGee gave the Illini a little spark.
The juice in the pocket. Fumble taken away, and the Illini pounce on it, and that has plagued Juice. A couple of fumbles against Iowa, and he went to the sidelines last week. Sometimes it is very hard when you take a quarterback out to reinsert him in a situation like that, as Crable's able to wrest it free.
Well, it's always easy to second guess, but I agree with you, Brent. You know, I know it works at times, but I think playing quarterback's a lot like playing running back. You get into a rhythm, and when you get taken out, you get put back in. Not to say you can't make plays, but it makes it tougher.
Here's your 3rd down and 10. The Illini need to get it downfield here. Crable closing in. Incomplete. And the Illini forced a punt with 6:42 left.
And the reason it's so important in this case is Juice Williams is fighting to find confidence. In the first half, he was a confident quarterback. In the second half, we saw him at times looking confident. When you get taken out and Eddie McGee gives him a little spark, it's only human nature to all of a sudden get back in, maybe second guess yourself a little bit. That's something that Illinois staff will have to deal with throughout the rest of this year.
You know what Lloyd Carr's staff will do now, looking at that clock. Matthews just lets it go. They'll work with a short field. They'll move the ball down, work on the clock. 24-17. The Wolverines lead it. Now, Kirk, this is a work in progress. That's where I covered Red Grange, was right up there. Okay, they're going to have a beautiful facility down here. The students are off to our left in the end zone. They have completed that part of it. And the Wolverines with the ball, and 6:26. The clock is running now. They're keeping that clock moving. The Wolverine coaches will keep an eye on that. They know the Illini. There is what it'll look like when they are finished from this end, with the luxury boxes and the club area, and of course the brand new press box will go in.
A few more elevators too, probably.
Oh, I hope. Second down. Complete for a first down to Matthews. Wrestled down by the 30-yard line, and Illinois starting to be back on its heels now.
Yeah, but I love the aggressive play calling by Mike DeBoer. Just when you think, okay, Michigan has a 7-point lead, they have the ball in pretty good field position. Great time for Chad Henne to hand it off and put themselves in a position to just kill the clock. But Mike DeBoer says we're going to go after it. Here he is on the right-hand side there. Get after it. Big throw there. And a nice big gain there by the Michigan receivers.
Nice plug for Mountain Dew, huh? First down and 10. Here we come. Handing off. The running backs will stay inbounds. Don't stop it. Lehman making the stop. And of course, stay tuned for your late local news immediately following the game over most of these ABC stations, and then over on ESPN. SportsCenter will have post-game analysis along with all the scores and highlights of the day. And if LSU should happen to lose, there's still another shakeup in the top 10. Already South Florida, of course, will be replaced in the 2-hole. LSU was the top rated of the one-loss team. Boston College will probably slide to number 2 pending their showdown next Thursday against Virginia Tech on ESPN. And what a big one that now figures to be. Second down and 9. Minor. And see if they throw a high percentage pass. Manningham. And he's out of bounds, short of the first down marker. The official right there. But unfortunately for the Wolverines, that stops the clock.
Great timing this time by Chad Henne and his experienced receiver, Manningham. Everything was great there, except that Manningham stepped out of bounds. So they attacked by throwing. Manningham tried to stay in bounds, but when he made the cut to the outside, his foot stepped on the line, so the clock stops.
So what do you figure, 2-down territory here for Carr's staff rather than attempt a block field goal? Should they miss on 3rd down here, try to keep the clock running? What do you think?
I think they'll run a zone play to the left side to try to pick up the first down, and field goal kicking has been shaky all year. So let's see what happens here. But I think they run left to get it to the middle of the field and hope for a first down.
Criswell's in as one of the tight ends. The power of the formation certainly to the left, and here they come, just like you predicted. But Minor battles and not going to get there. So now it's your 4th down. This is a tough decision coming up here.
Now the wind is at the back for Michigan, so if they decide to kick, which it looks like they will, they do have a very strong wind behind the kicker. His long this year is 36 yards, right?
Yeah, he's going to be right about that, Lopata. We got this one around 39. We'll try to curl it in. Looks good. A 10-point lead for the Wolverines. Lopata, a career long. And Michigan up by 10, and Lloyd's happy. As we take a look at the ESPNU All-State Standings Review, and Mr. Herbstreit, I think you'd agree with me that Boston College slides to 2 right behind the Buckeyes.
Yeah, you have to move Boston College to 2. The computers, the polls will have them at 2. But look at this. If LSU ends up losing, Oklahoma won, which is important at this point, but they didn't look great. Ohio State didn't look great at the top. You go down, South Carolina loses, Kentucky loses, Arizona State, what a great week they had. They didn't play. They're going to skyrocket up after sitting back, and West Virginia all of a sudden starting to get back into the mix.
Still a few snaps ahead of us, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness, yeah. Oregon, a lot of points in Seattle today against Washington.
Davis is back deep. And Willis is going to try to get something going. Not a good idea. Down at the 9-yard line. Well, as you look back on this game, I think that Herbie would agree. 2 huge mistakes. One, roughing the punter. The other, the fumble on the fair catch, really turned this game in Michigan's favor.
Well, the fumble right when it looked like Illinois had some momentum. The game was tied. Michigan struggling a little bit on offense to find some rhythm. The fumble, all of a sudden, Chad Henne gets the ball at about the 10-yard line, and they punch it in eventually to give them the go-ahead score. Now we're going to find out. Illinois keeps getting pushed back further and further. Now they're inside their own 10-yard line, down by a touch, down by 10.
And here's your man McGee back in there, Eddie McGee, and so certainly uncertainty with the most important position on the field. Incomplete, and they were trying to get it into number 9's hands. That's Aurelius Ben. Remember that number and that name. He's certainly one of the bright recruits of the Ron Zook area. Even if they lose this game, making it 2 in a row, You still got to feel the Zook and the Illini on the right track.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the way he's recruiting, the direction of this program, there's no doubt at all that he has this program heading. They're going to start to win a lot of games, and they're not done tonight. I was going to add, you showed the BCS standings there. A team that wasn't on that list in the top 10, who I think is lurking around. No, they're not unbeaten. They have a loss. Okay, you give me another one. I will give you a team that's getting healthy. They played in South Bend, Indiana today.
SC.
Look out for USC. Some big games coming up.
Hawaii if they finish.
Come on.
Yes. Hawaii's going to get to a BCS bowl. They're getting to a BCS game. You watch. You watch, my friend. Here comes the dancing McGee, throws it away, lives to play another day.
Did you watch them play San Jose State?
Doesn't matter. W's a W. Undefeated. They're going to get top 12. Let's take a look at this now.
They're going to get into the top 12.
Yeah,
nobody's going to beat them unless they lose at Nevada later.
Isn't that the agreement that they had to make with those rascals?
You're stating a fact. Is that an opinion? Should they be in the BCS?
I think they should go to a BCS game based on what my friends at Boise State did last year against Oklahoma. Okay, the little guys deserve a spot.
Boise was a different team.
What game was more exciting than that one? Let's have a little fun here. Complete and short of the first down. A very good stop that time by Morgan Trent. Warren made the reception, but number 14 prevented a first down. So here is third down now at the 3-minute mark. Is there a flag?
Here comes Henley.
Yep. That's an automatic first down. 2:54 keeps the Illini alive.
True freshman Donovan Warren playing as a true freshman. You just don't see that for the Michigan secondary. You think of Marlon Jackson, Charles Woodson, Ty Law over the years. They think he'll be the next great one.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Pass interference. Number 27 on the defense. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul with an automatic first down.
Brandon Harrison.
Did the brouhaha with Jimmy Kimmel on Monday night mean that you and I are off his show?
I did. Huh? Did we get invited?
Yeah, for the Cal UFC week.
Oh, man.
Huh?
I didn't get that memo.
We might be on double secret probation, though.
Oh, yeah.
That
was a little bizarre,
McGee, out of bounds.
Double secret, but guilty by association?
I don't know, man. We got to get a hold of that rascal.
Hope we're still doing that game.
Well, yeah, because Cal took a tough one.
Yeah, lost to UCLA today.
Second down and 10. Here's McGee still in at quarterback, still firing away, trying to get something going here. 2:48. 3 down linemen. Little prevent and come free. Crable, and they get it in Mendenhall's hands. Not much doing, and so another big third down. Coming up as Engelman trips him up. You know, one of the areas where Michigan has really improved as the season wears along is right there with Engelman and Jamar Adams, number 22. Remember those highlights from Appalachian State, those receivers running free? You don't see that anymore against the Wolverines.
You know,
I think that defensive secondary really came together. Pressure there by you-know-who.
And they got challenged tonight against Juice Williams early in this game. I think the difference in what you're seeing from Michigan's defense today compared to early in the year is they've become a little bit more cohesive. When you lose Prescott Burgess and Alan Branch and leaders Lamar Woodley, David Harris, Leon Hall, I think they were young early and got exposed.
4 receivers now in 4th and 7. Dropped by Ben. On a 4th down, the freshman lets one get away from him. And I mean, McGee drilled that.
Well, that's why they feel at this point he's got tremendous upside, but he is a passer. He is a thrower right now. They want him to develop into being a passer. Had an open receiver in the secondary, threw it too hard and behind his intended receiver.
So it looks like Michigan's going to escape one here in Champaign. And a reminder, stay tuned for your late local news immediately following the game over most of these ABC stations. And, of course, over on ESPN SportsCenter. Post-game analysis along with all the scores and highlights of the day. Kirk mentioned USC. You'll see their big win in South Bend and movement there on the line. As Chad Henne and the Wolverines were set to go to work.
False start. Number 88 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Friswell, one of the tight ends.
Well, you're right about Ron Zook and about the program, the direction of the program. You're looking at an Illinois team that the last 4 years has averaged 2 wins. 2 wins. They're on their way to a bowl game this year, which they haven't done since going back to 2001 when they played in the Sugar Bowl.
Handoff and well, today's Chevrolet players of the game are Chad Henne, coming back from an injury here and leading the Wolverines. You could have given it to Manningham or Arrington if you don't want it to. And Rashard Mendenhall's had a big night for the Illini. Rushed for 85 yards, trying to close in on 100. And in honor of their contributions tonight, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 donation to each University's General Scholarship Fund. Second down. Reaching for the handoff now to Brown. This will be 3rd down and long. The Wolverines will try to keep it now and keep that clock moving.
Brett, let's review here in the last minute and a half. You had Michigan losing 2 games to start the season. They won 5 in a row, came on the road to play without Mike Hart. They passed a big test tonight in my mind against Illinois.
Indeed. We'll take a break. So we welcome you back to Champaign as we bring down the clock on this one. The Wolverines up by 10, 27-17. And gutty performance tonight without Mike Hart. Chad Henne banged up. Forced to leave the game once. Didn't open the second half. Came on in the 4th quarter. Michigan down, led them back. Now they're up by 10, 27-17. Facing 3rd and 8. They're going to let him put it up. And Matthews did not get the first down. Here's your 4th down play.
I think people who didn't watch this game might see the score and say, oh, okay, Michigan won 27-17 on the road. But because of what they faced tonight, a lot of adversity, not only coming into the game without Hart, but we saw Henne walk off into the locker room. We saw Manningham at one point walk off into the locker room. They were down 14-3 on the road without their leader. I thought they showed a lot tonight, and I think this will help them for some bigger games coming up on the road at Michigan State, on the road at Wisconsin, and then the big one at the end of the year against Ohio State at home.
Speaking of big games, be with us next Saturday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. Happy Valley.
Whiteout in effect.
It'll be Penn State hosting the #1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And if the Buckeyes are to run the table this year, this will be one of their tough assignments. Will be this game next Saturday.
I've said since August, you're really not going to know how good Ohio State is until they travel to Happy Valley. Almost everybody expected them to be 8-0 with the schedule that they had. They're there. Now you find out in their final 4 weeks, beginning next week at Penn State, Wisconsin at home, Illinois at home, and then the big one at the end of the year, as we just talked about, at Michigan. So now we're going to find out how good they really are and if they're worthy of being ranked #1 in the country.
Michigan, of course, after this game has a meeting with Minnesota in which they'll be heavily favored, and then their big November. Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Ohio State coming up. It's down inside the 5-yard line at the 3. And let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary here, Mr. Herbstreit.
Well, we saw Illinois jump out early. I thought, boy, it looked like Michigan was in trouble. Juice Williams came out throwing very quickly. Willis jumped out in front for the Illini. Then the injury to Henne, I think, also concerned Michigan. Henne comes back, 2 straight touchdown passes. They take the lead going in at halftime. Big drop there on the punt, sets up another touchdown for Michigan. So they're on the ropes, and they kept fighting back. And Lloyd Carl addressed his team tonight. He'll look them all in the eye and talk about how proud he is after the adversity they faced and got through it.
A 6-game winning streak after losing to Appalachian State and Oregon in Ann Arbor. So the Wolverines on the comeback trail. And picked off. Yes, indeed. Donovan Warren, the freshman, making a sensational catch. Watch this.
Well, this is big time. This is what the Michigan coaches are talking about. Watch this. True freshman. Great coverage, lays out. And when you start to throw Ty Law, Marlon Jackson, and Charles Woodson's names around, It gives you an idea of the future that Warren has, and we just saw a glimpse of it. What a play.
So we have a victory formation for the Wolverines. Handed back to the referee, and what a relief it is for Henne to line up in this formation.
He earned it tonight, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Took a beating, and of course I mentioned their remaining schedule. You can take a look at it here. November 3rd at Michigan State, November 10th at Madison for Wisconsin, and then November 17th in Ann Arbor against right now would be the #1 team in the nation, Ohio State.
And remember, Jake Long, Mike Hart, and Chad Henne all talked about coming back for their senior years for a chance to win a Big Ten championship, beat Ohio State, and win a bowl game, and all those are still right in front of them.
So the Wolverines survive a trip to Champaign. With Mike Hart watching, they showed true heart, reflecting excellent talent and good coaching. The Wolverines have battled back. And there is the man who injured his right shoulder earlier and still returned in the 4th quarter. So we'll take a break and come back. Michigan has won its 6th game, this by 10 over Illinois. Once again, our final score, 27-17. Michigan beats Illinois in Champaign. Chad Henne, 18 of 26 for 201 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mario Manningham caught 9 passes tonight for 109 yards. And a reminder now, next Saturday, tune in at 8 Eastern. It's Ohio State versus Penn State. For Kirk Herbstreit and Lisa Salters, I'm Brett Musburger. Thanks for watching ESPN on ABC. So long, everybody.